Yo, it's ODB. I want to show you a quick thing that I'm working on, trying to bring a little bit more content to the channel. So thanks for the support. I only support Griot's Garage in terms of detailing products. I've learned over the years from Joey Romuto. I had Nick, who now is, I think, technically the CEO of Griot's, on my Lincoln Addict podcast, talked about all kinds of cool stuff. Okay. I love Griot's. The challenge is, I don't think, based upon my research and searching their site, that they offer a product like this. So I did deviate and I did buy a competitor product. Now I hope that Griot's will come out with something like this. You may see these ads. This is a non-ad. Not paid for this. And I'm not being paid for this. And I paid for my stuff through Amazon. These just arrived about 2 hours ago, and this is Renegade product. These are their Pro pads, Pro Red Infused synthetic polishing pads, 10 count. I will tell you, I am thoroughly impressed. You can see right here, these things have a little bit of a bite to them. On the Lincoln stuff I've done, I take the Brasso and I take quadruple aught, 4 zeros, steel wool, and I can polish stuff up and clean it up, and it loves that very fine wool. I've never done that on billet, so to speak, and I probably wouldn't unless somebody told me, hey, you can do it. But here's why I'm showing you this. These pads, like I said, they came about an hour and a half ago. Okay, there's 10. This is how they look when you open. There's a little thing you peel. There's this little deal on top, kind of like wax, and then there's this little lid, right? When I open these up, I have not much time. I'm going to show you a couple images here of how the steering wheel looked in the Mazda. You can see here, basically doesn't look very good. And the hub that it bolts to, it doesn't look good. No big deal, it's billet. I'm known not to polish stuff myself. And what I've done is I've already polished a couple things, and you can see how dirty. If you've ever polished billet, you know the stuff gets dirty from the contaminants and everything. And I've kind of been sitting that on here. What I did is I took the steering wheel apart, take off my gloves. I like wearing gloves when I polish stuff, just because it doesn't get on my hands and whatnot. But the steering wheel so far, I have almost no time in this. Now, keep in mind, this is a half wrap. So don't look at the actual flat part. That's where the half wrap bolts to. But if you look there, it looks really, really, really a lot better. Now, there are some imperfections there, which would require me to do a little bit more work, obviously. But I did polish. There's a little polish left there on top on that flat part. This thing looks a ton better. Now, I polished the steering hub too. I'm going to show you a side-by-side of that now. I did that while it was in the truck, and I had maybe 10 minutes in that. What I like about this product is that it has, again, a little bite to it. And not a professional, but to me, that seems like the difference. Now, if your stuff isn't too tarnished, I mean, we all know you can use, I've got other polishes in my display case or in my cabinet that I can use. What I'm going to do, this is the half wrap part. This had 4 screws in it, three, 4 on the back. And it's obviously billet aluminum. I'm not worried about obviously polishing that. That's the back side of it. But I am going to take a little steamer to this, see if I can get some of this kind of crud and this little bit of dirt. Either way, I'm going to try to clean this up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to polish the back side a little bit, spend a few minutes on it, especially the back middle. So I'm going to do a little bit of work there to try to make it look as good as the front. And then I do want to show you, this is the last part, and then this video will conclude. Again, not a paid promotion at all. This is just something I bought. Full disclosure, I think I spent like $45 on the 10 pads. And, some people would think that's crazy because, you've got another method that works. Absolutely. I watch stuff on polishing bike parts all the time. And people are like, this is all you need, this, and this. And the stuff comes out amazing. To me, there's nothing wrong with if you've got something that works. There's a guy on Instagram that's doing VW stuff, and he's using I think a Brillo pad. It's whatever works for you. But I'm not going to tell people to do certain things if I don't know if it works. But what I like to do, since this thing was so kind of crappy looking, again, this thing has a little bit of bite. So after I kind of put on that first coat, I like to kind of go around and really get in some of the grooves. This is the horn button, obviously. And what I did is I like to let this stuff sit a couple minutes. So while I was polishing the steering wheel, I put some of this on 5, 6, 7 minutes ago. I'm just going to kind of go back now, as I stated, and do a little polishing, rubbing back and forth. Is that what it's called? And then In closing, what I want to show you is I've got my microfiber. Show you the result here. Like, it's not perfect, but that's like as little as an effort that I've ever put into polishing something with that result, which is the key. You could go back, apply your other product if you want, if you want to use this as kind of a base cleaning piece, to kind of get it. But to me, to spend a lunch break, which is what I'm doing, and get this thing cleaned up where if I look in the truck or I'm driving it, it looks a lot better. Why not? Shout out to Colorado Custom. Love their products. Love their steering wheels. I'm going to get this thing buttoned up, and then I'll show you a final quick insert at the end of how it looks. We doing the damn thing. You know how we do. All right, just tighten up the last one. Sneak peek right here. Looks a lot better. Very little effort was put into polishing this thing. Push the O-ring over, and I'll show you side by side. Crazy what a little bit of elbow grease, as they call it, will do. So it's not perfect, but remember, this is a fun little truck, and why not have a nice clean steering wheel? Lastly, I was going to steam this with an old steamer that we had that I've been wanting to resurrect. However, it was not working. The steamer wasn't working. So I used some degreaser that my wife had purchased, like more for home stuff, but it said that it was also good for various greases and things like that. And she sprayed a little bit on the back of it and before I put it on, and she said, "Hey, why don't you just use this?" And it cleaned it up nice. I need to fill that put a little dab of paint there. But there she blows. All right, everyone. Thanks for the support. Leave a comment. Peace out.